Hello, friends, and good morning. I'm back with some new subject today, and this subject has been suggested by one of my dear friend, Miss Jigna Shah, and she asked me to talk about the word thinking, to think. And before I begin with this particular subject, I request all of you who have yet not subscribed to my YouTube channel, kindly do that. So let's begin today's subject, thinking. Now, what is the source of this word? Our brain, our mind is a storehouse, or we can say the trigger point to all kinds of actions and reactions we do in our life. It's such a tremendous force or an activity within our brain, we can say, that it has the power to create, construct, deconstruct, and recreate. It's very, very important. It's such a powerful force. Now, friends, whatever kind of a communication we have with the outside world, or maybe the inner world, the engagement with the people, the collaborations, this all is a result of certain kind of a thinking process which is within us. If that thinking process gets synced with that of the other persons, then a certain kind of a forging happens, the bond happens. And if there are contrasting point of views, contrasting thinking, conflicting thinking, then this bond never happens. Or if at all it was there, there are possibility that it would break off. It's very, very important. So such a powerful tool we are talking about. It can make lives, it can mend lives, it can break lives or relationships. So, friends, we all are born with clean slate of mind. Nothing in our brain, nothing in our mind. But as we grow up during our life years, because of the influences of various kind of experiences and learnings, it can come through your family, the relatives, the friends, the system, the academics, the profession, the colleagues, from anywhere, from any kind of experiences, we tend to build a particular kind of a belief system in us. The experiences which is gathered is stored as certain kind of a thought process and thinking in our brain, and our belief system gets structured. And on this foundation, on this belief system, we spend our entire life. Now, here is a catch. We need to be careful that when such belief system gets fixed, it becomes rigid. It is not flexible. At that time, the problem begins. We would start having certain kind of a conflict and disbalance with the outer world. We won't be able to communicate freely. We would not be able to engage freely with the people, with the situation. At the same time, the rigidity in our mind, the rigidity of our thinking, the rigidity of our thought process, it would stop us to have multiple perspective about particular kind of a person or the place or the situations. And this is very, very tough. It hampers, it restricts our growth. So we need to be very, very conscious about when this belief system is getting formed. We need to be aware that from where this kind of influences are coming in and what type of influences are coming in. And friends, most of the time, this thinking, our own thinking, is induced. It's influenced by something else. In spite of we having our own intellect system of thinking, because of our upbringing, because of our learning and our experiences, there are times, most of the times, we get deeply influenced and impacted by some stronger belief system of somebody else's. That person may be carrying an particular kind of a aura or a power or an energy or a great influencer, and there are chances that it influences us deeply and very strongly. So what happens when this kind of an influence comes in our lives? Two things, two way we react to such kind of a force. Number one is, when such kind of an influence is there, what we tend to do is either we fully accept that, we fully surrender ourselves to that force and we go with the flow. Very simple. And second is, when that kind of a influence starts questioning our own intellect, we start having conflicting thoughts. Now we have a contrast. So it's going to create certain kind of a confusion and suffocation. Some kind of a questions are going to arise. And this happens wherein we start questioning many things, including our own intellect system. So friends, thinking is not bad. It's a blessing, in fact. But there are times when we have some kind of a tendency to go overboard. We cross lines. Our thinking cross lines. We all have heard a phrase that an idle mind is a devil's workshop. Yes, that's true. What is an idle mind? It implies that at that particular time, your brain, your mind doesn't have anything worthwhile to focus on or to work on. It's idle. And what it does, at that time, it makes biryani of the entire thoughts, entire store system what we have within our brain, and tries to link every thought randomly. It is so very vulnerable that within a fraction of a time, it jumps from one thought to the other thought. And after making this biryani, it comes out with some unusual kind of outputs, results, we can say, or unusual kind of conclusions and judgments, we can say. And this is pity, and this is not good, because most of the time this kind of an outputs are illusionary in nature. The medical science many a times term this as delusional disorder, wherein it doesn't have any authentic, original, real basis of life. It cannot explain itself, it cannot justify itself. So we need to be little aware about this particular tendency of going overboard with our thinking. Friends, even the old age medical science depicts that all the ailments in our body, it creeps in because of our thinking behavior, because of our overthinking behavior. Otherwise, friends, our body is such a beautifully manufactured piece of life that it can take care of itself in a wonderful way. In a wonderful way. The flow and the rhythm and the harmony, it is structured like that. But what we do is, with the process of overthinking, we disturb its balance. And ultimately, the entire physiological and biological system gets disturbed and the ailment starts coming in our body. So these are the things, friends, we talked about, that what is thinking, what is the source of thinking, how the thinking gets influenced and the belief systems gets manufactured, created in our system, and how do we react to certain kind of a situation, and what is an overthinking zone. Now we come to the solution part of this talk. I have divided solution into three major parts, and as I promise, and as I always put forward, that the solution is going to be a very simple practices which anybody can do anybody can practice irrespective of age and gender. And that is very important. There is no complex science to approach any of our life problems or from our daily experiences. So these are the three things that we can practice to come out or to regain our normal thinking strength. So out of the three, the number one is, friends, that let's have our own thinking time. A small thinking time every day. Because during that particular time, when it is exclusively your own me time, your own space, wherein there is no external disturbance which is happening, at that time we have certain kind of a clarity towards everything. And at that time, what are we going to do is we are going to reflect our day's happening, or think about or reflect on what is going to happen the next day. We will have certain clarity. The clutter would be less, the mind would be calmer, and we have to assure and ensure that at that time we are in a good state of mind to think. So if we give this particular thinking time to ourselves consciously and willingly, we don't need any more clutter during the day. We would just go on with our work. It is very simple. We are going to focus on something which needs to be done rather than sitting idle and think about absolute nonsense stuff. So this is number one. Number two, a very, very important point is distraction. All of you must have experienced, and we have experienced when we were child, and when we used to cry and shout for certain things and used to harass our parents for that. What they used to do at that time, immediately they used to either give us a toy or something to eat, or show us some far off bird or something like that, pull us up in the arms, and or put us on the lap. But somehow they used to distract our attention, and we used to get, our cries used to stop, our shouts used to stop, we used to become calmer, and we used to go to sleep. This trick still works, my friends. We need to distract ourselves when we understand that we are stepping into certain kind of a thinking process which has started troubling us. We are becoming restless in a way. It's troubling. We are not feeling a particular kind of a happiness or a comfort. At that time, what we can do is either we can start reading a book, we can listen to a lovely piece of music. Either if we are a good artist, take up a pen and paper and or a canvas and start sketching and painting. If you can play a musical instrument well, just pull it up and start playing that. Talk to a friend if possible, and if nothing happens, just get up and go down and go for a stroll. Any kind of a distraction, the physical and the mental distraction, is going to help us at that time, and we must do that. And the last but not the least, the third practice is meditation. Very, very strong, authentic, powerful medium, the tool wherein we can reduce our clutter. Because meditation is a particular science, yogic science, we can say, wherein we move towards zero thinking zone. It doesn't imply that we have to stop all kind of thinking, we have to try hard to stop them or disturb them. No, nothing. Let the thoughts flow, let them come, let them go. Just look at the thoughts in a neutral way, and at the same time, the basis of our life, the basis of our living is our breathing. Just focus on our breathing, the way we inhale and the way we exhale. If we focus on this process and at the same time allow all the kinds of thoughts to come and go, and without being judgmental, we are absolutely neutral. Friends, believe me, slowly and gradually this practice would bring us to much needed harmony in our brain, our body, our entire life system. Very, very important thing. So thank you, friends. Herein I rest my topic today, and thank you, Jigna, for this such a wonderful subject which you suggested, and it was really very important for me to come up with that. And as I always say, let's keep growing together, let's learn together, and let's improve together. Thank you and have a good day.